Hey, my Yankee headphones are slipping off over my brand new Rutgers Goopaline, as we call it in the Italian world. Well, Goopaline needs to have a ball on the top, I guess.
That thing is hot, Artie.
Yeah, man.
That's hot
Thanks,
looking.
Tim. Look at this. I love this. I love hats like this. I always have.
It's sharp.
It's sharp. I feel like a gangster rapper from Rutgers. I'm looking at the top 25. You know, thinking about your job, what you do, you're athletic director. That's your title.
Right.
Okay. It is such a what responsibility, because we were became real friendly with you during the football season. I went to one game on a Sunday, and I saw what your life is like for that.
Yeah.
And that's done. You'd think that you need a year to recover from the football season, but now here comes basketball and everything else.
There's no time to recover. You know? And football and basketball overlap. Like basketball starts in November.
They do, right? Sure.
Yeah. It's as my wife and I joke all the time, it's game day every day.
It pretty much is.
Yeah, there's 24 sports, so figure that. There's about 700 student athletes playing
24
multiple sports.
What am I, 20? God, that's a lot. I couldn't name 24 sports for a college.
You couldn't do it?
Let me try.
Let's go.
That's interesting. How many sports you have there? Okay.
We have 24. You already know football and men's basketball.
Okay,
so.
football, basketball, baseball.
Right.
Now men's and women are two separate?
We can count those as two separate sports.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All right, so you got football, baseball, basketball. That belts out 6. Do you have a hockey team?
How do you get 6 from that?
Well, because there's no women's football.
No women's baseball. It's called softball, Artie.
Softball.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm a bit of a boob. No, softball. All right, fine. Do you have a hockey team?
No hockey. We have field hockey, though.
Field hockey.
Okay. Now, you're from Jersey. You should know. You got to have soccer.
Field hockey, soccer.
Lacrosse.
Soccer, lacrosse.
Okay. We have women's crew.
Women's crew, which is rowing. Right?
Rowing, right.
You have men's crew?
We don't have men's crew anymore. We used to, but it's not a varsity sport anymore.
Track.
We have men's and women's track.
You have a billiards team?
No billiards team. So that would be low cost, though. You think about it. You don't need a lot of overhead to have a billiards team.
Nah, that'd be a dirtbag college to have a billiards team.
I think the NCAA might frown upon billiards, or if we had a Texas Hold'em team. I don't think we want to do any of that.
You'd have to gamble for that. No, you don't
Probably not doing that.
You don't want that. Lacrosse.
Yep.
You don't play rugby, right?
There's club rugby at Rutgers, but it's not under my purview.
Tennis.
So, women's tennis.
You don't have men's tennis.
No, we don't.
Now, why is that?
The big thing that's changed in college sports, you see a lot of schools that are cutting sports programs for whether it's budget reasons or whatever it is.
Right.
And a lot of men's programs, along the way have been cut in order to balance out Title IX. And Title IX legislation
Explain Title IX.
Title IX is about equal opportunity. It's
right.
It doesn't say you have to cut men's sports to make room for women's sports. It's about women and men being provided the same opportunity to compete.
Right.
So I think what happened for years in college sports is that the numbers were way out of whack. Like there was this many men competing and that many women. So to get the numbers more in balance, you start more women's sports, you balance it out by maybe taking one away, adding a women's sport here to try to balance it out.
God,
so
man.
It's a vicious cycle.
I don't envy you.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle.
You're dealing with a lot of, people whining. Political correctness, too. It just, you don't want to insult somebody. Like, what do you mean by this? What do you mean we can't have this? What do you mean we can't have that? It is. It's very difficult.
You have to be a good listener.
You have to be a good listener.
Patience is definitely not at the top of my list of assets as an individual.
No.
But you got to be a good listener.
Yeah.
And it's, people love the experience, and nothing gives a university the ability to bring that many people together that care that much, like athletics.
Yeah.
But believe me, even if you win 50-0, the food sucks, the parking sucks, the weather stinks. My kid tripped and skinned his knee. It's all out there.
Well, I have a list of bitches for the day I was there. I'll give them to you later.
What's the matter? You were on the field. Like you were literally inside the white lines.
I wanted to be in the
game.
huddle. No, dude, you could not have treated me nicer. That was so much fun, and it was so much fun to get a chance to see what you guys have done there and what you've turned Rutgers into. Like I said, the last Rutgers game I was at was 1987. I was.
You did look a little stunned when you walked in.
My God, it was really like, oh man, we've come a long way. But you say patience is not up there with you. It must be being a fellow Italian. You seem like a real professional guy, a real nice guy. But I know you remind me like uncles and me, as well. You seem like a nice guy, a fair guy. But I can tell you're not the kind of guy you should aggravate.
No, probably not. Look, everybody in this job, you have to be patient, you have to be a good listener. But like I say all the time, everybody's got their limits.
Right.
You know, and in my family, you know, I had a lot of hotheads around the table with their T-shirts on at the holidays.
Right.
That's where you learned it. Nobody had patience, and everybody had a hot temper. But in the end, everybody's got their limits. We're trying to produce a good experience.
Right.
You could produce the perfect experience, but it's never going to be enough. But look, in the end, it's not just games and events and school and. You're in the customer service business. Like
I know, of course.
You're
Like,
producing an experience.
everything comes down to that. Even like, you know, what I do for a living. Ultimately, you know, I'm trying to please the people who come to see me, do stand-up or listen to me here or whatever. You're trying to please people.
There's no doubt about it. Yeah, it's not easy, but you know what? It's definitely the hardest thing I've ever done because you get pulled in a lot of different directions by a lot of people, whether it's kids on the teams, coaches aren't happy, fans, and whatever it is. And then there's the politicians, and then all the people in the state, and there's the donors that are happy and there's some are unhappy. You deal with everything. While it's hard, it's definitely the most fun I've ever had doing anything.
Really?
I mean, and the thing is, it's because I went there. You know, I
went
went there.
You're passionate about.
I love the place. Like I went, I had a scholarship to go there. Gave me the opportunity to get my education. I have great friends from there. I met my wife there. Like I had an awesome experience there.
Right.
If I didn't care, like if I was doing this job at any other school, I'd be flying off the handle far more than I do.
Well, you could tell too. Like I mean, that you care about it a lot. How many? You have kids, right?
I do. I have three kids.
Yes. Now, so how does this translate into raising them? Like the patience you have to show. I mean, like it must be good to what you experienced to in your job to teach them about the world a little bit of education, like what they're going to expect and stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's good. You know, my wife says sometimes you should have as much patience with your 5-year-old daughter as you do with some of these donors that are chewing your ear off, which she's right, I should. But
a lot of times families get the brunt of it.
Yeah, they do. But, you know, it's great because this is a career that gives me the ability to give my family real access into my career.
Right.
You know, my boys, 13 and 11 years old, they play sports year-round. They budget 9 minutes every morning. It's like get up, get showered, have breakfast, pack the bag, 9 minutes of Sports Center, off to school. So they live and die with
9 minutes of Sports Center.
9 minutes of Sports Center. So,
I love that.
When I got the job, I remember trying to explain to them 4 years ago what it was.
Right.
My older guy gets it. I explained it, and he goes, "Okay, Dad, so you're basically the general manager, but you don't have one sport, you have 24." And I'm like, that's pretty good because it's true. My younger guy was like, okay, I get it. You get the best seats at every game. That's the job. So to one, it's about business, to one, it's about tickets, but they treat the place like it's their playground, like it means as much to them now as it does to
Right. And also it's funny how you can see how certain kids grow up. It doesn't mean one's worse than the other. It just means the different values that one might have over the other.
It's amazing. Like my older guy is my wife. He's structured. He's a rule follower. He does well. My middle guy is like me. He's headed for an average academic career and a great social life. Like it's amazing. They come from the same people, but they're totally different.
Right.
You know?
Well, at least they could end up like me, below average social life and an academic career.
Right, and drinking too much chocolate milk and fluffernutter, and then you have acid reflux.
No, I know. I've done a lot wrong.
You know what? That's a sponsor opportunity, though.
The fluffernutter. Like listen, let me tell you something. You talk about passion, the way you have with Rutgers football. I have that with this fluffernutter. I really would be a great spokesman for them because there wouldn't be one take in a commercial where they'd go, try to be a little more enthusiastic.
Well, your agent better be on the phone right now. I don't know who he is or she is, but they better be on the phone.
Well, that's the problem. The other issues I've had, the controversial stuff I've been involved with, because you find out everything is a corporation, and they don't want to be involved with me.
Yep.
Quite frankly, we're surprised that you come here.
Hey, look, if people want to be short-sighted and judgmental like that, that's their problem.
No, I know. You see, great. That's a great spin.
You don't think I get sweaty outside this room? I'm running a huge career risk being who I am in New Jersey to be on this show?
No, a lot of people would look at me and go, like, what do you do? You know, like, this is amazing that you... There are people, buddies of mine, can't believe you come here.
To me, the one thing that I try to do different in the job than I think a lot of my colleagues do at other schools is I'm not trying to be politically correct and diplomatic all the time. Like I'm a guy,
you gotta have some fun.
I'm a guy from Jersey that got lucky, had a good career, fell into this job at my alma mater.
Right.
Love it, enjoy it, work my tail off doing it, but I'm not going to let it change. I'm not going to turn into this sort of mouthpiece that I'm not. Like, you got to have fun along the way.
And in a lot of ways, we have some parallels because that is true. I literally am doing... one way, I mean, I guess maybe, there's a lot of people who probably made a bunch more money than me, who I went to school with. Maybe not, I don't know, because there's a lot of money in coke dealing. But I think that the success that I have is I literally am doing what I enjoy.
Yeah.
more than anything in the world. Like, this is what I always wanted to do. I wanted to play shortstop for the Yankees till I was about 14, and I was smart enough of a kid to realize that wasn't going to happen, you know.
Right.
But then the second I decided not to do that, or realized that wasn't going to happen, I never went through a time where I want to be a cop, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a fireman, I wanted to be a comedian. Radio, TV, on stage, something in the movies. I wanted to be in comedy, and I'm getting a chance to do it. So I figured, when I was working at the port as a longshoreman, I was making $60,000 a year loading trucks, which isn't bad at 22 years old.
Not bad.
But I said to myself, if I could somehow make $60,000 a year in comedy, I don't have to be Eddie Murphy or whatever, you know, Ben Stiller making $2 billion. If I could somehow make 60 G's from comedy, then I'm a winner in life.
And now you make it a night when you go up on stage. I mean, look at you.
Hey, listen.
Hey, you know what, though? That's an important lesson, because that's the one thing I've tried to tell my boys as they're getting older is, this job for me, like, I never really looked at it as a job. Because I love the place, it's a passion, and like anybody that finds anything in life to do that they love or can't live without, like, A, you're never going to fail. B, you're going to work harder than the next guy. And then you'll never, at some point, like, money will be in the back of your mind because you'll make enough where you don't have to worry about it anymore.
That's the best. That's my advice to younger people. If you somehow get to a point where money actually becomes secondary, to where you're like, wow, and I'm doing all right money-wise, too. To where the others, that's where you go, wow, I've achieved happiness. Like, that's happiness.
Yep.
You know, I'm proud of you.
I appreciate it. Hey, look, I almost feel like a co-host moving from where I was the last time I was here over there, moving to the middle of the desk. I mean, what's going to be next? You're going to move this machine out of the way?
You'll be hosting.
I don't know if I was a guest or if this was an audition to be your co-host.
Hey, we'd love to have you. You're good at what you do.